Hi, I'm Rodney. Today we're looking at this Peppa Pig album, my first album. I got suggested to review this album by a friend and a fellow music connoisseur that I know by the name of Brendan Sundstrom. He's also an up and coming artist. I'll be reviewing some of his records later on. He makes he made the only project he's ever made is 5 Days Left. It's pretty notorious. But anyways, so I went into this album not expecting much, considering it's a Peppa Pig album. It's just a kid's show, whatever. But I gotta say, I was thoroughly impressed at certain points during this album at what content it would bring to the table, and I gotta say it surpassed my expectations overall. So to get into it here, we have let's go over. There were some better tracks, some weaker tracks. One of the weaker tracks is Peppa and Friends. Okay, so you get into this song, it's just not a good beat. It doesn't really have like a flow or a groove to it. It's really just a bunch of the characters like basically just talking to each other. I don't like this song. Probably my least favorite song in the entire album. I don't have too much to say about it other than it's not good. Another song I don't like, Busy Miss Rabbit. Okay, and I don't really like. This song's not too bad, but it's really boring and it's really repetitive. It's pretty self-explanatory in the title. It's a song about Miss Rabbit living a very busy life and just doing a lot of things. Um, but there's nothing really like behind it. There's nothing really making this a good song. Like, sure, it follows Busy Miss Rabbit and how busy she is, but what makes me care about Busy Miss Rabbit and what she does? It doesn't do much for me. I don't like this song. Not a good one. And the last one that really sticks out to me is just not good is Bing Bong Zoo. This song is about a school field trip Peppa and the school takes, and it is honestly at this point in the album. They're starting to use many similar sounds with the instrumentals here, just repeating tubas and some piano notes over and over. It's not very good. It doesn't really catch the ear. The story it's telling is it's okay. What sounds to be a French instructor or that maybe their teacher guides them through the zoo, showing them all the animals and the attractions and what there is to enjoy at the zoo. Which I'm not gonna lie, the zoo is pretty mid. So, and the chorus to this song, it's not good. It's boring. It's uncreative, and I just don't like it. And my last complaint about this song is that it drags on for way too long. This song is much longer than it should be. It's a longer length than a lot of the songs on the album, and I just don't like it. So enough bashing on some songs. Let's get into some tracks that I do like. One of my favorite songs on the album is Super Potato's Theme. This is a song about Super Potato, and Super Potato talks about how important veggies are to eat, and how they keep you in your body functioning, and how they keep you alive. And the chorus is something like reminding us to eat our five, which I don't know if it's like five vegetables, five like the levels of the food pyramid or whatever the fuck it is. And so it has an incredibly good and catchy verse about I don't know, a minute or so into the song. It is just all around a pretty good song, comparatively a pretty good song. I like the idea of Super Potato being a character, and I don't know if that's a character in the show, but I really hope it is because it seems to really catch my eye. My favorite song on the album is Expert Daddy Pig. This is a song about Daddy Pig just being a very well-rounded, talented man. The song starts off with Daddy Pig attempting to hang up a photo. Peppa is worried that he is going to mess up hanging this photo. It's a family portrait. And she basically asks him if she can help. He reassures her that he has it under control. He has it handled. He's got that. He knows how to hang a picture. He then carries on to perfectly hang the photo on the wall. No hiccups or anything. And Peppa's impressed. Everybody's impressed. He's an expert. He then goes on to make pizza for the family after asking them what they want to eat. So he goes into the kitchen. He whips that whole thing up with absolutely no issues whatsoever. I'm sure that shit was delicious. And it's also revealed about, I don't know, a minute and a half into this song, that Daddy Pig is a qualified engineer. Now, I don't know if that goes to say anything, but that is truly impressive. A little later in the song, towards the last leg, Daddy Pig navigates the family to a vacation via driving them. And he claims he is an expert at map reading and won't get them lost. Peppa and George, they're all worried that he might get them lost or whatever, but he has confidence in himself. He has confidence in his ability to read a map and not get lost. And I find that very impressive. And at the very end of the song, Peppa exclaims, rightfully so, "That's why we love you, Daddy Pig." And I think it's a good track. And I really like that song. And it's my favorite on the album. Doesn't get much better than that. Another stronger track is Holidays. It's honestly, it's slightly repetitive, but that doesn't bother me as much. I really like this song. This track talks about the excitement George and Peppa face during the days just before the holidays, which I'm assuming is probably Christmas. It counts down the days until said holiday by measurements of sleeps, as in 3 more sleeps to go, 2 more sleeps to go, and then the holiday's there. And it's just a nice little, it's a cute little catchy song. I'm a pretty big fan of this one. And the last, really remarkable track that I enjoyed was Peppa Party Time. It honestly had a dance beat, something you'd find on Drake's Honestly Nevermind, but better. It was upbeat and light. It had a good tone to it. It honestly has a good flow and a groove to it. I caught myself dancing to this song halfway through. It has some pretty good lyrics on it. I enjoyed lyrically what it brought to the table. Peppa talks about the party she'll have and the activities and the dances everybody's going to do together, her and her friends and her family. I believe it's the chorus where it says, "Daddy Pig 1, 2, 3, clap your hands and dance with me." Come on. You can't make that shit up. That's good. That is good. So, going through a few more tracks on the album, there was a song called "Jumping in Muddy Puddles." It was not a very, it was just kind of a middle of the road song. It had a bit of a janky chorus about counting with your friends in the forest, then saying, "Let's all play outside. Splish, splash, splosh, splish, splash." I don't know. It doesn't really roll off the tongue. It was a little catchy, but it doesn't really roll off the tongue. It's easier to say in your head. But overall, just an okay song. The track "Balloon Ride" was kind of a point in the album where I started to question some of Peppa's mental capacity. She makes some statements about riding in a balloon that is bigger than the sun and the moon, which I have serious doubts about. I find it very hard to believe that happened. There's a nice gentle instrumental over this one. It honestly is one of my favorite instrumentals on the album, but that cannot carry the song to being one of my favorite songs though. That's the only issue. Peppa talks about all the things that she can see. She can see her house, her dad driving, her grandpa feeding chickens, and Susie's sheep on the slide and whatnot. Like, the list goes on, but I find it exceptional that during this one balloon ride, she was able to see all of these things, which I find very, very impressive. Um, there's a song called Rainbow Rainbow. This song talks about the colors of the rainbow, how they relate to things and people in Peppa's life. It was a little catchy, I gotta say. Some examples of this were like orange being the color of Mommy Pig's favorite dress. This was also the track that I realized that George cannot speak like Peppa. He can only make pig noises, which I was not aware of prior to this track. She expresses her love for rainbows, and yet again, it's a recurring theme on this album, muddy puddles. It does make sense because they're pigs and everything, but yeah, it gets a little repetitive, I gotta say. Um, there's a song called Festival Fun. It honestly sounds like you're at the circus. You could go to the circus and you could hear this exact instrumental, but the thing you would be missing out on are these lyrics. Okay, these are some good lyrics on this track. The track revolves around going to a big festival with her family and her friends, and she's basically giving everybody advice on what to do at this festival. And it says, "If you jump in a muddy puddle, wear your boots." But I find that extremely strange because they're all pigs. Why would they wear boots to jump in a muddy puddle whenever they're pigs? It doesn't really make sense to me. It seemed a little contradictory to their species, but it's okay. The outro to this album is Peppa's Lullaby. I thought this was a pretty strong song on the album overall, and honestly, a pretty good outro. It was a mellow, slow, loopy, dreamy beat. It was very, very nice. It fits surprisingly well considering the hectic and busy and exciting tracks, before it in the album. This was the first very, very mellow song. The track itself, the title is pretty self-explanatory. It's bedtime for Peppa and George. Peppa runs you through the bedtime routine and whatnot, being tucked in by Daddy Pig with her stuffed animals, telling George, brush his teeth and all of that stuff. And it was overall just a good song to wrap up the album. I greatly enjoyed it. I don't have much to say about any of the other tracks. There's some weaker tracks like Rainbow. No, I talked about Rainbow Rainbow. A track like Let's Get Ready, I wasn't a big fan of. And The Class of Madame Gazelle, also wasn't a very big fan of. But this album overall, it was not a bad album. I can't say that I would listen to it again, but for a Peppa Pig album, it was pretty good, I gotta say. I would it kind of surpassed my expectations, the flow of the whole album. At some points it was slightly repetitive, but that's okay because they pulled it back at some stronger points. I would give this album a 43 out of 100. It did better than the RXK Nephew album that I reviewed the other day, which was pretty surprising to me, but I gotta say, that album didn't do much for me. But yeah, this has been Rodney from RL Reviews, and that's it for the new Peppa album.